All right, welcome back to Marketing 101 for Nutrition Professionals. This is Module 6. We have an amazing guest speaker today, Dr. Gail Clayton, and she is visiting with us today to talk about her Facebook group. We are going to learn from her how to create an engaging Facebook group that can help us engage with our audience, have our audience get to know and like and trust us, which then can lead to sales. So, Gail, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about how you started your Facebook group, and then I'll just pepper you with some questions.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me. And I'll be happy to share what I did. And, I actually just kind of fell into it. I have no business skills. I can't balance a checkbook. I'm the kind of person that just threw everything in the box and kind of cringed at the end of the year, when it kind of came thing. But when I decided to change careers from pharmacist to nutritionist,
Uh-oh, Gail, you froze.
a niche. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, you froze. Can you just repeat what you said? I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So
pharmacist to nutritionist.
Yeah. When I decided to change careers from pharmacist to nutritionist, I didn't really, I didn't really know anything about marketing or business. I can't even balance a checkbook. I just throw everything in a box and at the end of the year, kind of hand it over, put it on a spreadsheet and hope to God that it kind of comes out okay. Just now, 7 years later, am I now like getting somebody to do QuickBooks for me, hiring somebody on a regular basis to kind of keep me in check. But one of the things I did when I first was changing careers, and I got really interested in a particular niche. And for nutritionists and alternative healthcare people, that's really, really essential to launch and you get a following of other people that have that niche, and that kind of springboards you into the whole profession to where people globally are interested in your health. So when I started back to get a master's in nutrition, I kind of just joined the Facebook groups that I liked, and that was in my interest. And I just kind of lurked, for 6 months. I just kind of went in every day and read posts. And then I saw there was people in there that just were giving advice that was really kind of stupid because, I already had a pretty good background and as being a pharmacist, and I knew a lot about chemistry. And some of the stuff people were saying. And then I'm like, people are hiring this guy over here who has no education and they're paying him lots of money. I might as well do it too. And I think I can do a better job. So that's that, so then I started the very next thing I did is start getting very active in these groups. And I was like, no, I'm not practicing. So for a whole year, I wasn't even practicing. I'm just so excited, sharing all my knowledge that I'm learning in school and kind of repurposing all my discussion papers that I had to turn in and all of these different groups. And people would contact me and I'm like, no, I'm not practicing yet. I'm still in school. And then I guess at some point I realized, well, why not? I do have a license as a pharmacist and I can do a lot of this. So I kind of started taking some clients on. And then I had a lot of people that really liked me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start my own nutrition Facebook group. And so I invited all those people and got a following of about 1,000 people the first month.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
that's huge.
Then it just kind of grew and grew and grew. Yeah, because I posted my link in other groups. But before you do that, you have to make sure you're really good friends with the moderator.
Yeah.
and the admins, because when you start like advertising and self-promoting in other groups, that's a really good way to get yourself like kicked out. And like when I would join groups, I never would say that, you know, I would never try to like recruit from another group, because that's the best way to get kicked out. And I would always try to make friends with the moderator of the group or the admins, and just give lots of free information in those groups, and those people like you, and you know, they find out who you are and they join your groups. I don't do that anymore. I really don't ever post outside my group anymore. It's, for one thing, it's very time consuming, but at first I had a lot of time. I had started a Facebook page, but honestly, to me, pages are like useless. There's no interaction. People want to know who you are. They want to see the real you. They want to see you engaging. They want to learn from you. Like this month, you know, since the coronavirus, everything kind of tanked. I've had like 4 new clients that have been following me on Facebook for like 3 or 4 years, and they just never were ready to pull the trigger. So people can follow you for a long time, and then all of a sudden they're ready to pull the trigger and actually do something about it. Like, oh no, I've heard you talk so much about getting your body ready for this virus, and I learned so much from you, and I trust you. You know, I think it's time for me to actually do something. You know, so now they're ready because something has triggered it, or something else had triggered a change in their health, or, you know, even if they don't hire you, I've had people send 20 other people to me because, you know, they like me so much. So, you know, and then you know, I started my Facebook group. Now I have, I guess, around 12,000 followers in my group, and I post regularly. People think I'm on there all day, but really, if you just make one good post and then you check in like every few hours and maybe make a little comment here or there, they think you're like reading everything intently and engaging in everything. And you can get, you know, 100, 300 people responding on one particular post. And sometimes the post just happens to be something that I'm eating that day, or just something that came up, or I read an article. It's like all across the board, different topics, even like controversial subjects, and you know, the politics surrounding nutrition, but not like, you know, I stay away from, you know, either of the political sides, you know, but you know, I really enjoy it. The people are wanting engagement, and honestly, it is a lot of work. That's the hardest part about being successful as a nutritionist, is to get people to want to spend their lunch money to hire you. And then for me, I charge more than any nutritionist I know, so they have to really believe in me. And so I do lots of webinars. I do some, you know, I did tons of Facebook Live through this whole COVID-19 thing. Every time I would think about something, I would just grab that nutrient and I would hold it up. I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm going to talk about today. If I only had money for one nutrient that's going to fight this, help my body fight this COVID, this is it. And this is why. And I would go in and spend, you know, 5, 10, 15 minutes on that. And then and next thing you know, sales are going through the roof of that supplement. And, you know, and I actually think I'm the one that started the whole run on toilet paper, because I released my webinar the first week of March. And one thing at the end, I said, you know, I know how to like protect my body, and I'm more scared of running out of toilet paper.
Uh-oh. We have you to blame for this.
Yes, and that was like the very first week of March. I was the very first one that launched a video, and I explained the whole immune system and how the virus kills you, and then how we can intervene at all of these different steps so that, like, you know, you have a better chance of survival. So I did that. And then I posted in my Facebook group of 12,000 people. I'm like, y'all, I'm really worried about running out of toilet paper. And everybody went and started buying toilet paper. I honestly think that I started that whole run on toilet paper nationwide or worldwide. It's kind of funny. But anyway, so, you know, I post all kind of cool stuff. And so like if y'all are going through some kind of training, for functional medicine or nutrition, and you're doing like papers, dude, you got to repurpose those papers. They're not just a one-time thing and you turn it in for an assignment. If you look back, like I look back through all 6 years of grad school, my master's and my doctorate, I have literally thousands of papers, and I've repurposed all of them, rewrite, kind of like taking out this and that and kind of making it a little more layman's term, and posted it as a great post. And these people, like a lot of times I'll see a post come up that somebody had like gone back through a search and on a post that I posted 3 or 4 years ago to bring, you know how when somebody posts, it brings it back up to the top of the so like all of these things, and I post them on my pages, I posted them all over the place, just like lots of free stuff. You know, so, and then another thing I would have to say is be very careful about being too salesy. There's another girl that runs another niche group who I've been friends with since the beginning, and kind of helped her with some of her histamine issues. Now she's in, you know, she won't go back to school. You know, I've been telling her for 5 years, she could have had her doctorate by now, you know, or nurse practitioner by now if she'd have like done it. But anyway, so now she's bouncing around with these multi-level marketing products. And then like every day it's some wild, outrageous posted how this is going to save your life. And, you know, and that's kind of a turn off. So, you know, so when it comes to multi-level marketing, you have to decide if you're going to go down that path or not. And, you know, there's a lot of biased against them, and then some people love them, and then I don't know, but most of them are overhyped and underperformed and overpriced in my opinion. But whether you want to do it or not is up to you. But the point is that she like every day she's getting in and posting these outlandish posts that are just like nuts and drawing them in, and I could see it, you know, and I'm like sending her messages saying, hey, you know, you might want to like do more education, you know, give some really good stories, and that like every day you're just posting. It's like, buy from me, sign up, be an affiliate, buy my MLM product. I said, people are just going to start leaving your group in droves. So just when you have a Facebook group, I think the important thing is to get a niche and be the best. I mean, do your research, be the best that is there. Like one of my colleagues, she has interstitial cystitis, and she like went through all this whole nutrition because most of us find this path because of our own health challenges. Whatever that health challenge is, if you go that direction and you become an expert in it, people are going to hire you because you can relate, and then you've made all the mistakes and everything else. And so she's created this whole program. I mean, she knows more about interstitial cystitis than anybody I know. And so, you know, so that's how she's launched. And I was toxic mold exposed and got sick from that. And so then I, you know, have launched a whole course in toxic mold illness and then how to recover. So that's kind of like, you know, what I would suggest to do to get going on Facebook groups.
Great. I have so many wonderful little pearls here. Let's back up a bit. And you mentioned some really good advice that we have been working on in our marketing group, and that is to choose a niche. And I'm wondering, I mean, I know what the name of your group is, but like, what is your niche? Like, how would you define your niche?
So it's changed. I started out thinking I'm going to save the world from MTHFR. And I'm like, and so like before I even went back to grad school, I'm like, I know enough chemistry. So I started studying NASCO and Lynch. And then I had Dr. Lord's Bible, you know, the laboratory evaluations of integrative and functional medicine. It's like this like super duper functional biochem book that explains it, has all the answers. It's like the Bible. Anyway, he's like my hero. And I'm teaching his class this fall. Anyway, I'm so excited. But I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to like interpret everybody's SNPs, and that's the answer to everything. So I like started, like people started hiring me to do that. And I was horrid. Nobody got well. Nobody. And,
Interesting.
and, and so I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm going to give myself a bad reputation. And then as I went through Dr. Lord's class, and that's kind of like in your senior level of your master's program, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why it didn't work. Because you have to look at organic acids, you have to look at the labs, you have to like look and see, are those enzymes actually expressing? If you have a polymorphism of an enzyme, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's really impacted enzyme activity enough to be where that's your problem. And so I have people come to me, oh, I have MTHFR, I have CBS.
I know people act like it's a condition.
I have COMP. I just got diagnosis with COMP. Can you help me? And it's really just like dysbiosis or something, or food allergy, but people just think that that's like the whole world, but as I got smarter and more educated, I was able to like look at the whole body and look at all the systems. So then I kind of like inched out of that, and then I went into more of like the organic acids, because like I'm the biochemist, right? And I have this big ego. I'm like, I'm going to be the best of interpreting organic acids. So I spent 2 years with 4 biochemistry books surrounding me and studied those organic acids and the patterns and pathways. And I think that's why University of Bridgeport hired me, because I'm such a like workaholic and when it comes to biochemistry. So now I'm teaching it at the university. But, and that's how you get really good at something, is to teach it. But, so then I became the renowned specialist of organic acids. I don't care what group you're in. Somebody says they're in, thyroid 411 group, and they were talking about me. They hire me to do their organic acids. So that was kind of my niche. And then like, it's kind of moved more into like digestive issues and autoimmune, immunology, toxic mold. So, and so like the more I learn, that's why my title of my group change is like, how can I fit all of these little specialties in there? It's like nutrition, autoimmune, detox, MTHFR, adrenals, so I kind of am doing it all. So, but now like my big thing is modulating the immune system for anybody that has immune dysfunction, histamine intolerance, mast cell activation, mold illness. That's kind of like what I'm kind of known for now. And I refuse to interpret anybody's SNPs. But if I look at organic acids and I see an abnormal pattern that is suggestive of an enzyme problem, then I'm like, okay, let me look at your thing and let me see if you actually have that one particular SNP. I'm only going to look at that one that I see is expressing in labs.
Okay. So it's very interesting. You've described how you first started focusing on MTHFR, and then your career has morphed into focusing on the immune system. The
immune system, mostly the immune system, toxic mold illness, and histamine dysregulation and digestive disorders. Those are my big ones. And of course, I work with people with cognitive decline and children with autism, because that's all encompassing all of those.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So even though your group has a lot of different topics, is there a particular topic that you focus on more now? And the people who engage, are they people with those immune digestive? Well, let's just put immune as the umbrella, and then, all those other issues kind of roll up to the immune system. But would you say that the people who are active in your group and engaging with you, are they more interested in the immune components, the topic?
Yeah, because the interesting thing that no matter what your issue is, the symptoms all kind of manifest similarly. Fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues. Those are, or even like skin rashes, and all of them, everything is all connected. So yeah, they all, so we don't know, like the big thing is it because the immune system dysregulation causing your symptoms, or was it your symptoms and all of that called your immune dysregulation? So then you get in all these negative loops in your neurological system, your digestive system, because now once everything's dysregulated, it becomes self-stimulatory and you can't get out of those negative loops.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So now you have 12,000 people in your group. When
Yes.
when did you start this group with 1,000 people?
I think I started that group about 5 years ago.
Okay. So over the course of 5 years, it's organically grown from 1,000 people to 12,000 people.
Correct.
That's a lot to manage. Do you have somebody helping you manage all of this?
Yeah, I have about like three followers that love following me, and they help me admin the group. I have a couple of colleagues that I've made as admins, and sometimes, and I told them, I said, y'all can promote yourself in here or whatever. They help me a little bit, but I think it's mostly me. But the other admins, they'll go in there and they, like when people are fighting or whatever, being rude because they don't know, like they call each other names, then they'll just automatically delete them and boot those people.
Right. Okay. So
Now
when
my
it gets
rate,
to that size, you do need some help. So
yeah,
whether
you
that's
do.
somebody like that works with you, or I'm just
Right,
extrapolating this to, the rest of our
right,
group, is that you can hire an intern or a social media manager or somebody to help sort of
right.
moderate. And now with the content that you post, are you having them read your articles on your website, or are you sending them to other places? Are you inviting them to engage with you in the group?
Just mostly in the group. I don't know a lot about marketing and having to do all of this stuff. And, it's, to me, it's a nightmare. I should be leading them to my website and capturing email addresses, but that's just beyond me. I just like when I'm making up a lecture and I have like one screen or something, like a slide that I really like a lot, I enlarge it and I screenshot it and I put it on there, and then I kind of start a post on it, and start dialogue on it. And then I have one video from my biochemistry class, or maybe two videos from my biochemistry course that I teach, that it's recorded and I just put on there. I'm like, here, y'all should probably watch this about glutathione and antioxidants, and they go bananas over kind of stuff.
Really? So you can get technical with this group and they enjoy it, they engage in it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I can get pretty technical, but then I'm saying, okay, so bottom line, what this means is if you don't have enough of this type of food, you're gonna like really be at risk for this kind of conditions.
Okay.
Nobody gets enough for instance, polyphenols was the last one I did that. And I talked all about polyphenols and how some people are sensitive, why some people are sensitive, and then, why some people have a better response to them than others. And then like, what are the best polyphenol foods? And then of course, my favorite polyphenol supplement, which is the one that I created, called Immunothrive, that I sell. So, I mean, sometimes I make posts to like talking about a particular client that I just had, case scenario. People love that. So
Case studies.
yeah, if they can relate. Or sometimes I just post about like what I'm having for lunch, or just like stress or trauma or anything that impacts our health. Or, sometimes I post an article that I read and talk about it a little bit. Or sometimes I just, I don't know, just whatever comes up. I'm always posting just whatever's on my mind.
Okay. So some questions that are coming in. What's the name of your group? I'm going to post it in the chat.
Okay.
It's called
Or you could just put
Nutrition,
the Facebook link.
Adrenals, MTHFR
Yes.
Detox. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of different topics, which I guess is sort of
Yeah. And
reflects how
another thing I do is
has morphed over.
every once in a while, I change the background picture of my group. For at one time it was ginger, and then another time it was like me fermenting some ginger, and then another time I had ground cinnamon on there, and then just recently I took a screenshot of one of the slides of the courses that I'm about to launch in immunology, functional immunology. I put that as the background. So now it's the pillars of immune dysfunction, dysregulation. And so people went nuts over that note photo too.
Right. That's great. How
Yeah.
often are you posting per week?
Sometimes I can go a couple of weeks. Sometimes I kind of get mad at my group. It feels like they just get a little too demanding and like, why didn't you answer my question? Or you're ignoring me. And, sometimes I just feel a little too overwhelmed. And then sometimes I read those questions and then they expect me to go in and like basically give them a full freaking consult on Facebook right there. And I'm not doing that, so I feel like personal dosing and questions is something they need to pay me for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also you have to be really careful about like legal, like giving specific advice to a particular person. There's the HIPAA, and then plus legally you can't do that. Just making general posts about like nutrition and health. But when somebody's saying, well, I have this condition, what do you recommend for that?
Right. And, that, kind of reinforces why it's important to set your boundaries and your ground rules, so that, if this is a private Facebook group, they have to sort of read these rules. I mean, not that everybody remembers them, and they'll still keep asking you for personal advice, but it's important to make sure you set those boundaries from the outset. So on a typical week, are you posting once or twice a week?
Okay, so usually at least once a week. Like during the COVID, I was posting every day and even doing a Facebook Live like 3 times a week. But sometimes I can go a couple of weeks without posting and people will like put on there, is Gail still alive? We haven't heard, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm here.
So they miss you. They expect to hear from you at least once a week.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's say you're posting on a not the COVID crisis, but just like a normal week where you're posting once or twice a week. How much time do you spend between the post and then engaging with your audience and answering their questions?
It looks like I spend more time than I actually do, and I don't read all the responses. I'll go through and selectively respond to things that doesn't take a lot of my time.
Okay.
Take 2 or 3 minutes to like type something out, and I'll kind of skip around. And some things that going to take a lot of time and too detailed to answer, I just ignore them. I'm like, if they want to know that, they can hire me and I can tell, they can pay me, or like if they're wanting specific dosing and advice and this and that, I just kind of ignore a lot of that. So say, if you spend 20 minutes a day in your group, that should be sufficient, but not even all at one time, like 5 minutes, 4 times a day.
Okay.
Like skimming through it and maybe making a simple post about something.
Got it. All right. I'm just going through everyone's questions here. When you post case studies, even without the identifying details, do you ask permission from your client, or you just describe the situation and how you addressed it and how it resolved? Like, how do you approach case studies?
Most of the time I just talk about, to say, oh yeah, I recently had a client that had this kind of issue, and we kind of did some diet changes and did a gut protocol, and now her MSQ score, or his MSQ score, is dropped by 100 points, just after 3 weeks.
So you're just generally describing what you did. You're not doing
right.
We have these specific foods and these specific supplements.
Right. Some of my clients that are actually in my Facebook group, and they've had like really fantastic results, I said, can you go in, and would you mind going in Facebook and making a post about it? And that way I let them do it. If they do it, it's not a HIPAA issue. And I don't respond in that, except for saying, I'm glad that you had such a good response to, my recommendations. That's really about all I will comment, but it's perfectly legal to ask your clients to go in to like your Google business reviews and write a review, or go into your Facebook group and make a post about their, you know, what their results of working with you, or what they thought of working with you.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. When you first started the group, were you posting frequently? Were you still posting?
Oh yeah, pretty much every day. And the thing is, it didn't feel like that much work to me because I had so many discussion posts from all of my courses I was taking. I would just go in and take something every day. And actually, when I first did it, what you can do is you can time them to be released. So I like had a whole like 30 or 40, maybe 50 posts. And then I like timed them to where like one was released at, you know, certain intervals. So then I had this whole string of posts about different mineral, like I'd pick a different mineral or a pick. And another good thing you want to remember that like if you're going to make a post, they always respond better if there's a picture on it. So I would just open up a PowerPoint and then kind of download a free picture, or make a little PowerPoint slide to make it look really pretty, screenshot it, and then slide it in. You know, pictures, like they'll read a post with a picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that your picture posts are more engaging than Facebook Lives, or the Facebook Lives work better for you than picture posts?
Both of them work. I mean, I typically have anywhere from 300 to about 800 people watch one of my Facebook Lives, not really while it's live. Usually about 20 to 40 will watch it while I'm actually doing it live. But now they've changed the Facebook Live so much and it's so confusing. I'm like, I can't be bothered with trying to figure out. They've made it so difficult that you have to like practically take a course to learn how to work it.
Yeah, which is interesting because Facebook Lives are one of the highest performing types of posts. Dr. Ben Lynch does, and I gave this group the example of Dr. Ben Lynch and his group, and he does Facebook Lives, and they are tremendously engaging and very well. I mean, people will sit and watch for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they love when I do a Facebook Live, but it's just recently it changed, and I'm totally confused. I went to YouTube to watch somebody and kind of learned it a little bit, but I'm still kind of confused with it. And so I haven't done a Facebook Live since they changed the format because it's too confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Going through the questions here. Alana's been a member. So Alana's a fan.
Oh, okay.
Alana's here in our group. I know. I remember when I was joined your group, I saw that some of my friends that had nothing to do with nutrition are in your group. But I was like, everybody knows Gail Clayton. All right. Emily is wondering, do you have your policies clearly written in your group? Is it open to anyone, or do they have to answer questions to join?
Yeah, I have 3 questions that they have to answer to join. And then also part of my policies is I don't let anybody join as a page, because if you're joining as a page, then you're joining to promote yourself, even just through your name.
Sure.
And I worked hard to develop my group. I let practitioners in, and I'm very generous with my knowledge to all my followers and other practitioners. But I refuse to let them recruit. I'm okay. I mean, I worked hard. This is all part of marketing in my.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to let other practitioners come in and like say PM me or join with a Facebook name, or and also if anybody gets a PM like trying to sell them something or pull them off to their side, and then I'm like, they can be really sneaky too, because what they'll do is they'll have a video made on YouTube, and then they'll like post that video and it's drawn them to their website, some affiliate links. So I'm really good at like every post that I'm looking to see if there's affiliate links and all of that, because I have my own Amazon affiliate links. I use post in the group or different things. So I know when they're trying to promote something to sell or to draw them to their website or toward their page or, something, I delete it and I boot them. I don't even give them an option. So,
yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty bad Facebook etiquette, and you
so
do.
I never do that in another group, ever, ever, ever.
Right.
Ever.
Okay, next question is, when you first started the group, did you plan your content? I know you said you I guess you must have planned it where you were posting, every day. And did you use like one of these automated calendars for social media, like Hootsuite or?
No, I don't know anything about any of that stuff.
Okay.
I did is like I had all of these discussion posts saved in my folders, and I went through all my different courses and kind of like look at the posts that I had made, and I just kind of cut and paste and kind of edit it a little bit and maybe take out some of the citations that are a little bit much, and I kind of maybe change the wording, and then I would like post it. So I literally have hundreds and hundreds of those.
Yeah, that's a great way to, if you're wondering like, wow, what am I going to post this week? I mean, just going through school, you've written so much content, it's unbelievable.
Right.
So
I could probably write 3 books.
Resource.
I could probably write 2 or 3 books from the content of papers I've written for school.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. But just so everybody here knows that there are tools that you can use where you can plan out your content and schedule your content to drop on a particular day. So it could be Hootsuite. There are competitors to that, like Planly. I don't know. There's quite a few of them. But so if you have the time you want to schedule like one day for content planning, you can schedule all your posts once a week, once a month, and then they, go live on those particular days. What percentage of your clients are coming from your Facebook group? Either direct members or referrals from the people in the group?
Oh, wow. That's hard to say. It kind of waxes and wanes. Like right now with this whole COVID thing, I would say 70%, 75 to 80% of what I'm getting is coming from people who's been following me or had heard from me, or somebody talked about me in another group or referred me.
Mm-hmm.
To, had a few hundred clients, and, and they're happy clients. They become your best salesman, and they market for you for free.
Absolutely.
Admins, I pay them $0. They just are sitting in my group waiting for me to post something, and then they take it and one of them, they take it and they post it in all the other groups, and they're like, "Oh, Gail, can I share this?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I let them share, my information or whatever. And then in the other groups, they're like, she'll say, "Oh, this is Dr. Gail Clayton says this," and then and she's in this and such a group, and then she'll, and all these other groups. So then they start like flocking because they're friends of friends. And then like sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'll have like 50 new people wanting to join my group, and I look and it was one person. She had added every one of her friends to my group, especially through the whole COVID, and I was doing all those Facebook lives. They invited all their family, all their friends. And so my group in the last 6 weeks has grown by 2,000 members.
Whoa, that's a lot. I guess related to that, how much time do you spend? I mean, you did mention that you don't look at every post, but how much time do you spend, I guess, policing, for people poaching, people posting affiliate links, people, bad behavior?
I do that once every morning. I get up and I make my morning coffee, and I sit down and I answer my emails, and I like go through my client portal. I answer those emails. I look at my calendar, and then I go to Facebook, and then I look at all the tags and maybe make a few little answer posts. But then I'll go through the discussion and look at, stuff that other people are posting. And then I'll click on their links and see, try to determine it. So, like maybe 5 minutes in the morning, I'll just kind of go through the thread.
Mm-hmm.
go back the last 2 or 3 days, see what's posted. And if there's something that I think is fishy, then I kind of look into it a little further. And if I find that it really is, you know, a phishing type post, I delete the post. And, you know, that you get the option of deleting all the posts they've made in the last 7 days. And then you can boot and also block them from ever coming in your group. So that's what I it's like maybe 5 minutes. So that's part of my 20 minutes a day on Facebook.
Okay. All right. So 20 minutes a day engaging, and you know, if you
And
have a
policing,
Facebook
yeah.
Live, if you have, you know, a more in-depth post, then maybe it's another.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to do a Facebook Live, I usually spend about 30 minutes kind of gathering my thoughts, gathering my content. So, like with the whole COVID, I pulled all the supplements because I have like drawers of them, and I went through it and I pulled out stuff that I thought, okay, you know, everybody has boxes full of supplements that they've like tried or put on. And I'm like, so if you can't afford to buy my COVID protocol supplements, this is some, you know, you might have some of these just stored somewhere at some point, you know, like, and then I took them all out and I talked about each one of them and, you know, how this could be helpful. And so, and then one day I just took out all my teas. I'm like, okay, so, you know, even if you can't afford supplements, do you have any teas? These teas can help prevent the hypoxia and stuff. So, yeah. So sometimes I'll just write and organize my thoughts on a piece of paper, just bullet points, and then I'll just go live. Kind of like today, I couldn't even really remember what we were going to talk about. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll figure it out as I go along. So
Right.
kind of ad lib.
And how often do you quote sell? So if most of your posts are informative, educational, etc. I know you sell your own supplements. You also obviously sell your nutrition counseling services. So how often are you making a sales related post, a direct sales related?
Actually hardly ever. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I'll make a comment, say, yeah, you know, your gut is a mess. You might want to consider like working with me one-on-one, something like that. But when I say that, most of them like run away, you know, oh no, I'm not spending money. I came in here for free stuff. But but since the COVID, I've been kind of selling more. And, you know, it's really interesting because like I used the COVID crisis as a way to change my business model. So my supplement sales doubled because I jumped on the bandwagon. I made a webinar video, and then I came up with a survival guide. In 2 weeks I was working like a madman. I gave it all for free, but my supplement sales doubled for that month. I was like, holy smokes, I was making so much money in commission. I don't even have to see clients. And then even after that kind of dropped off, my supplement sales now are 50% higher than they were before the COVID start, because I had so many people join my dispensary from my protocol that was passed around to thousands of people. So now it's like, okay, so
Wow.
that's
right.
Yeah.
It literally went viral.
It went viral, and then I offered really cheap 15-minute phone consults to anybody. And so I had about 50 or 60 people, you know, that I just did 15-minute really cheap phone consults for like $30. And that's really, really cheap, just to, you know, talk to them on the phone and help guide them through things. And, you know, so you basically, when the environment changes, your business model has to change, and you have to be on the top of it. You're like, oh no, COVID's coming, everything, nobody's spending money. And like, okay, so how can I change my business model to meet consumer demand, you know, customer demand? Number one, everybody's scared. There's a lot of people that they'll spend money on supplements because they're scared. How can I capitalize on that? How can I change my business model to meet their needs? Because nobody's into like, oh, I've got fibromyalgia, I think I'm going to hire you right now. But everybody's in like, I'm in panic. How can I keep from, you know, I'm having symptoms. Can you help me? And I don't have money for a full consult. So genius kind of just came in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just offer like cheap consults. And boom, they jumped on that. So you kind of have to like, change your business model
But how did you communicate that? All right, so you say you hardly ever do a sales post, but then you were,
right.
because of
Okay.
COVID,
So
you did the
right.
survival guide. You're then offering, do you sell your supplements on Wellevate or Full Script, or you have
Yes,
Amazon?
yes. So on my survival guide, there's a link to my full script. So you're not allowed to put full script links on social media anywhere, but that survival guide is downloadable on my website. And as long as it's not advertising, it's kind of part of my program that they sign up and get on my email list and stuff, and then they can get access to my survival guide. Anyway, but then I ended up just putting my survival guide in the group files. And so it's not actually posted, but it's in my, on the survival guide. And that thing got viral. So now, and that's the one thing you really want to try to figure out other ways to bring in money rather than just direct one-on-one, because nobody's ever going to have like 40 clients a week, to get that one-on-one. You're going to have to get money from like your webinars, your programs, your courses, your supplements, and selling this device and selling that device, affiliate links and selling affiliate courses. So like for me, my practitioner immune module for the molddetoxdiet.com is going to be launching in a few weeks. All of y'all can sign up to be an affiliate. Okay. And you'll get 40% of the sales. So you can embed that affiliate link on your website or post it in your group and say, hey, Dr. Gil Clayton has this whole mold illness thing all figured out. And you can either just buy the Mold Detox Diet course, the first 3 modules, which is basically for a layperson. But she's also offering the immune module for practitioners. But I did it's simplistic enough to where a really sharp layperson can buy it and get the transcripts and study them and kind of work on modulating their own immune system that they can't afford to hire a specialist to do. So, so if that course sells for $300, you're going to make like $125 for every course you sell. That's like huge,
Absolutely.
So like, yeah, so you want to like look at other courses that other practitioners have already made. I mean, I spent a whole year every day. I've been working on this for a whole year, and y'all can just like get money just by posting a link, so you're making more per hour than I am.
Right.
So, but that's be an affiliate, sign up for be an Amazon affiliate, put an Amazon resource store on your website, all the products that you like. So what I did is went through all the foods that I recommend that are on the AIP diet, because I use that as my elimination protocol. All the, products that I like, cleaning products, personal care products, feminine hygiene products, and then products for the home, cooking, kitchen, stuff like that. So if any of, and then when I'm writing up my notes for my clients, my session notes, when I'm telling them, well, you need to change out your personal care and cleaning products, I put the link to my resources pages from my website. So then they can click on that link, and then I get 4%. I mean, this month I'm getting $600 as an affiliate from Amazon. I mean, that's huge. And I just have them like leave it in there. So like every time I go on Amazon, I'm just like,
you're shopping for free.
I guess, yeah. Usually I get about $30 because I'm on Amazon every month, but still $20 or $30 coupon. Who's going to turn that down? It ends up being like maybe $500, dollars a year, $400 or $500. I'm not turning that down.
Sure.
Yeah, I can get income from I need to get income from every source I can. And it kind of like builds up, when I never know how much I'm going to get from each of those sources every month.
Got it. So aside from the COVID crisis, how do members of your group know that if you're not selling and you're not promoting yourself, how do they know that you are a nutritionist that offers one-to-one counseling?
Well, okay, so my
or group courses or all these other
yeah.
things that you're doing?
So I change my pinned posts on occasion. Like most of the time, I have my pinned post as the link to sign up for a free 15-minute call
Okay.
with me. So I have a post, and I talk about who I am, my background, my credentials, and my specialties, and that I do work remotely with clients if you're interested in hiring me. And y'all can all join my group and look, and you're free to like copy like anything I did. And another thing that I do that gets me a lot of clients is I joined Health Profs. So Health Profs is like $29 a month. The first 6 months is free.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first time I joined it, the first 2 sentences come up, as they're, kind of on your profile when they see like 6 on the page. And it was all about me. And then I learned a little bit of marketing. I'm like, no, you have to hit their pain point, their very first sentence.
Very smart, Gail. Very smart.
I got no clients the first 6 months, 0. And then I changed my strategy, and I'm like, are you sick and tired of going doctor to doctor looking for answers? That's my opening statement. And like, I get, several clients a month from that.
Great. All right.
That's just local clients.
Sure. Yeah. Health Props is mostly a local service.
Yes.
We have about 5 minutes left. Does anyone, you can just unmute yourselves. Does anybody have any last minute questions for Gail? She's been so generous with her time. Unmute yourself, say hello, ask questions.
I want to just thank you for being here and being so, I love how organically this is all unfolded for you, because I feel like a lot of us are just like kind of at our wits' end with all the work we're doing, and we want to see that it actually can result in clients and sales. And I also love your diversity of making money. That's something that, as everyone in this group knows, I've been working on too. Like, how do I not just see one-on-one clients, which is wonderful, but drives me crazy when I have too many of them because I can't do anything else. I'm married to my computer. So I love that you've reiterated a lot of the points we've come up with over these past months together. And so I'm just really grateful that you're offering so much to the community, and it's coming back to you in different forms. So thank you for sharing all of that.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, income diversity and like being, feeling secure and stable is very, very important. I mean, I'm 63. I'm going to be 64 in a couple of weeks. Anyway, and I just graduated and got my doctorate last year. I'm changing careers, and like this time in life when all my friends are all retired, I'm like, oh no, I'm not retiring. But anyway, so the income sources of course is like direct client to client, and then my mold detox diet, and then my supplement, the ImmunoThrive, and then my teaching job. I took a job as an adjunct professor teaching biochemistry, and I'll be teaching functional labs in the fall, or organic acids in the fall. And then, the different dispensaries. I have like several different dispensaries that I use. And then, you can also make money from putting together lectures, and like labs will hire you to put on a lecture, and this and that. I mean, it takes a lot of time to do a really dynamic lecture, but speaking at conferences, I got, a little bit of money from doing that. But it's really all about building your portfolio. The more things you can load on your resume, the more likely people are to hire you. You have to convince them to spend their lunch money on you, or like take out a loan to hire you. That's what it takes. And you have to like convince them. And not only that, you have to do a really good job of actually helping them too, because they are the ones that's going to sell you. All my previous clients that got well, they're sending me clients. I can sit back pretty and not have to do any marketing now because like they're just I just log on my computer and I got all these new people wanting to talk to me, and they're like, oh, so and so sent me, or so and so sent me, or I heard about you from here, I heard about you from there. So yeah, it is a lot of work up front, and it's been 7 years, and I think year 5 I was finally kind of making about what I was making as a pharmacist. But I work harder than anybody I know at it. But I enjoy it 100 times more than I ever did as a pharmacist. I hated working as a pharmacist. God, that was an awful job.
All right, Jamie has one last question, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
For those of us who are just starting out with a Facebook group, so to be clear, this is a group, not a business page. What is like your number one piece of advice to grow your followers?
I would say don't try to get people to hire you. Just go in like you're there to educate them.
You're there to nurture, to build a relationship. This is not a quick way to make money. This is about
honestly
having an audience.
The first 2 or 3 years, I never once posted anything about hire me, hire me, hire me. No, never. I just was giving my info for free. And some of my colleagues is like, man, Gail, that's like nuts. That's stupid. And I'm like, but I have to get them to like me first and to trust me and to think I'm knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'm making the money now and they're broke.
And that's a perfect time to end on that note. I would like to put that in quotes. I'm making money now and they're broke. So thank you so much, Gail.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
I think everybody has learned so much about how, again, this is one way that you can engage with your audience. There are many ways. This is one way. And Gail has explained how this has worked for her and her business. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We hope you stay safe and healthy. And for everybody else on the call, we will regroup tomorrow.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.